You're listening to Real Talk Podcast with Steve Harrison, where he'll be talking about current events, finance, God, relationships, lifestyle, and health. So stay tuned, because Steve is going to bring that real talk on Real Talk Podcast.
Welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Stephen Harrison. My guest today is DJ Miami Marv. Today we're going to talk about Marv, about his life, how he grew up, and also about his successful DJ business. Marv, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Marv, talk to us about how you grew up and some of the things you went through in your journey through life.
Well, I grew up in the military. My father was in the military for 30 years.
Okay.
So I grew up what you call an Army brat.
What is an Army brat? I heard you say that before. Explain to us, what is an Army
now,
brat?
Now, I looked it up, and I thought I had the definition memorized, but it's basically for families. It started off with families, you know, who were able to travel around with the soldiers.
Oh, with the soldiers, okay.
Right, and eventually it just, you know, gravitated just being something for the kids.
Okay.
So as far as Army brat, it didn't mean that they were brats or anything. It's just they had a definition for it, the word B-R-A-T.
Okay.
Like I said, I thought I had it memorized, but I since forgot it. But that's what it stood for.
Okay. Now, what kind of experience you went through that your father was in the military and you meeting new kids your age? What kind of experience was that?
Well, you know, it was kind of tough, you know, because we moved around a lot. You meet friends, and you know, you could become kind of close to them, and then all of a sudden you're off to a new venture. Because, you know, he got stationed in different places, and you never really stayed in a place for no longer than 2 years at the most. You know, it was normally about 2 years, 3 years if you were lucky. You know?
Okay.
So, you know, as we moved around, you know, it was different experiences, and you know, you meeting different people, you know, going to different schools and things like that.
Okay.
You know, but it was never really a problem for us. You know, you'd be sad one minute, and then, you know, you move to another place, you make new friends, and, you know, everything was good. Okay,
one of the places, what are some of the places that you remember that you really liked that you wish your father and mother had never left?
It was, Fort Bragg. Fort Dix was a really good place. He went to Hawaii, but they had separated.
Okay.
And he went to Hawaii, and we came back to Connecticut.
What part of Connecticut?
Stamford, Connecticut. That's where my mother's people was from.
Okay, Stamford, Connecticut?
Yes.
Okay.
And we came back to Connecticut. I was about 13 when this happened. So we would have lived in Hawaii for like 3 years, but like I said, they had separated.
Okay.
And he stayed there for 3 years. And when he came back, they had gotten back together, and that's when we moved to Missouri.
Okay. What did that do to the family, the separation?
Well, the separation, I mean, like, my mother and father never got along very well to begin with. The separation was probably something that needed to be done at the time. But when he came back 3 years later, I was a totally different person. I'd be, you know, growing into a young teenager.
Good or bad?
Mostly, I would say mostly bad.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like, because I was, you know, influenced by the city life, whereas
Okay.
being in the Army base, everything was like structured and controlled.
Okay.
I mean, like, but when I came to the city, I got introduced to a lot of different things.
Okay.
You know, some, I guess you could say some were good and a lot were bad.
So how'd your father take that when he came back 3 years?
He expected to see the same son that he left 3 years ago, but, you know, it just wasn't it. I was smoking cigarettes and hanging out and, you know, chasing little girls and stuff like that, and that wasn't what he left. You know what I'm saying? I was totally different, and, you know, I guess I kind of like had an attitude and, you know, this and that and the other. So he didn't care for that too much. So that's where we bumped heads a lot.
So how'd your relationship grow with your father since you turned into a man and he's trying to come back and win his family back?
Well, I didn't really turn into a man when they got back. They had actually got back together, and we moved to Missouri.
Okay.
And like I said, I was about 16, you know, and I had my first experience with alcohol and, you know, things of that nature.
Okay.
And he tried his best to, change me,
Yes.
And it was a lot of struggles and a lot of arguments and a lot of fights and this and that and the other, and yeah, we didn't have such a great relationship at that time. Between the ages of like 16, till I was about 20.
So let's go back to your Missouri time, the time that they got back together in
Right.
Missouri. What was that like?
Well, like I said, that was some of the turbulent times because, when he came back, we had moved to Missouri.
Okay.
And his relationship with all my other siblings were, because they were younger.
Yes.
And they hadn't been influenced the way I was because I was growing into a young man.
Okay.
And it was turbulent.
Okay.
It was turbulent.
Okay.
And, I was just, starting to drive, wanting to drive.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was times where, he didn't want me to touch the car.
Okay.
Because he knew that I would probably be out somewhere, getting into things that I shouldn't be getting into.
Yeah, he's protecting his son.
Yeah. He was,
or trying to protect his son.
but you know what? He had every right to do just that.
Yes.
Because that's exactly where I was headed, down a
Yes.
bad road.
Yes.
So he did everything he could to make sure that, that wouldn't happen.
Okay.
As I did with my sons.
Okay.
When they were growing up, as a young man, you're off doing your thing. You're doing what you think is
Right.
and fun, but, your father knows that, this ain't the best for you.
You got the wisdom.
Yes, and exactly. So as with, a lot of sons, I couldn't stand my father at one time.
Yeah.
But, now that I'm a grown man with sons, I understand exactly what he was going through,
Okay.
So
talk to us about the move from Missouri to Stanford.
Well, my mother, when they finally got divorced,
Okay. Finally divorced.
yes, my father remarried and moved to Georgia.
Okay.
My mother came back to Stanford to be with her family and
Okay.
around her family. So she settled back here in Stanford. I stayed in Missouri,
Okay.
being a young man and trying to learn how to be a man and still doing irresponsible things. And
This is at 16 or 20?
no, I was 18 at this
18.
time.
Okay.
And I was between the ages of 18 and 19 years old.
Okay.
But the one thing that that carried me through being there by myself was friends, and I went to work every day.
Okay. And what kind of work was that?
I was working in a mess hall,
Okay.
doing KP duty is what they call it, kitchen patrol.
KP duty. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, KP
Yeah.
duty. Okay.
Yeah, so I was in the kitchen, and then I started cooking in the kitchen, and my mother had gotten sick.
Okay.
She had developed cancer.
This at the age of 20 or 18?
Well, I think I was in my early 20s at this time.
Okay. Okay.
And so I was in Missouri for longer than, about 4 or 5 years, almost by myself.
Okay.
So she had developed cancer, and I had to come back here to Stanford to help, hold down the household as far
Okay.
as working and financially. So I dropped everything that I had in Missouri, and I just stopped it all.
And you're the oldest child?
Yes.
Okay.
So being the oldest child, I came back, and I worked and helped pay some of the bills,
Okay.
because there was 4 other siblings in the house.
What was that experience like for you, knowing that your mother's sick and you got to come all the way from Missouri to take care of your mother?
Well, for me to come back wasn't a problem at all.
Okay.
I really didn't. I didn't care about anything else. You know how moms is. You know
Yes,
what I'm
that's
saying?
moms. That's
it.
their heart. That's their
it.
heart.
So everything else means nothing. I
Okay.
left my car. I left my trailer. I didn't even pay the rent before I left.
Okay.
I didn't have much money. I was a young man.
Yes.
Like I said, doing irresponsible things. So the last check that I got, went on a bus ticket, one
Okay.
way, straight
Okay.
to Stanford.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
So I left everything, and I came back to Stanford, and I helped do what I got to do. And it was a stressful time.
Okay.
Young man trying to become a man and being, and I was not yet there. Like who is at that age? But I was, burdens were placed upon me that I had to deal with.
Yes.
But yes, and then, you know, and everybody was going through their own changes because of my mother's sickness. You know, the kids all of my siblings were going through their own little things. Like my sister would take the car and stay out all night.
Yeah, that's probably the way she dealt with it.
Yes,
you know, everybody
exactly.
deals with things differently.
And then everybody was getting mad at her, and
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, other siblings would do little things. You know, it was their way of dealing with what was happening.
But you was the main one that was in charge, correct?
Well, I wouldn't say in charge. I was just trying to maintain.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, what? It's not like they were going to listen to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to order anybody around. I was just trying to maintain my sanity.
Okay.
You know, because, like I said, I didn't know what to say, you know, what to do. You know,
Because you're so young.
Yeah. So my mother was like, you know, she would, you know, give me a little guidance, whatever she could, whenever she can.
Okay.
And a lot of times she was in the hospital, you know, and I would walk to the hospital to visit her, and she would, you know, try to, like I said, try to give me some guidance and a little bit of wisdom,
Okay.
because she knew what I was going through.
Okay. So she's sick and knowing what her son is going through, and she's still giving out wisdom. Now, that's her mother.
Yes. And it was, like I said, it was pretty rough. And even though you know, because, you know, hospice will tell you right off the bat, you know, this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
Even though you know, you're never prepared for it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, maybe now that I'm older,
Okay.
I might be a little bit more wiser and be able to deal with it a little better. But you never really prepared for it when it actually happens.
And how long did she live for when you found out that she had cancer? How long was her life expectancy?
She lived for 4 months.
For 4 months?
Yeah, it's 4 months. Well, I found out in February, and she passed away in June.
Okay.
And yeah, I spent a lot of time with her.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you express how much you love her, and you say it a
Yes.
million times, and it was never enough. When she passed away, I should have said it a little more.
Yes.
It was that type of thing.
Because you're so connected to her.
Yes.
So what are you
absolutely.
doing now that you can help people that's going through tragedies like
Well,
that?
I can, like, when people are going through tragedies such as, you know, a fatal disease or something
Yes.
like, I could actually relate to how they're feeling and what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So I could share my experiences and you know, maybe give a little bit of advice of how to ease the pain a little
Yes,
bit.
'cause you
It's never,
experienced it.
yeah, it never goes away. I mean,
Okay.
even to this day, if I talk about it long enough, the pain will just surface right back up.
Okay.
But it'll never go away. But there's things you could do to try to ease it. But, you know, like I said, you know, nothing. You just have to, you know, weather the storm, so to speak.
Okay.
You know, I mean, like, there was a time where I was angry with everybody.
Okay.
You know, everybody. You know, including relatives and this and that, because nobody could really do anything. I was
Yeah.
mad at the doctor. I was mad at hospice and
Mhm.
this and that. But, you know, that was my way of dealing with it.
Yes.
But, yeah, I can relate to people that are going through. You know, the only thing you could do is just be there for them. I mean, like, if you say, I'm there for you as a friend, if you need anything, you need to call me or whatever, that's what you need to do.
Yes.
If they call you in the middle of the night and say, look, I can't get through this, I need a cup of coffee. Get your butt out of bed, go get a cup of coffee. If you say that you're going to be there for them.
Yeah, be there for him. Be a man of your word.
Exactly.
Now, not only did you lose a mother to cancer, but you also lost a sister.
I sure did. I lost a sister to cancer, I want to say about 7, 8 years ago. Like, her and my father passed away. My father passed away from dementia.
Okay.
And he passed away 2 weeks before she did. She passed away throat cancer.
Okay.
And what they said was she took a little bit too much painkillers because
Okay.
she had throat cancer and she had a second operation.
Mm-hmm.
And the pain was, you know, I guess it was a little bit too much, and she took a little bit too much painkiller, and that's what caused her demise.
So how was your life now that you lost a mother and you lost a sister? What was going through your mind then?
Well, when I lost my sister, like I said, it was painful,
Mm-hmm.
but I was a little bit older, and I knew, listen, life goes on. Even though
Yes.
you lose loved ones, you still have to think about the other people that are in your life. And the bill collectors, they're still going to be there.
Yeah.
And life goes on, and you try to deal with it as life goes on.
Okay.
As you continue your everyday life, you try to deal with what's happening inside you. But now that I'm older, it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
It's never easy, but it's easier.
You're mature. You see things, and you realize that people die from all kind of stuff. So you have to deal with it and move on.
Exactly. So that was it was like I said. It's easier to deal with, but the pain is always there. It's always there. It never goes away.
Okay. We want to thank Marv for sharing his story about his mother and his personal life. But now we're going to dab into Marv's successful DJ career. Marv, talk to us about your DJ career. What made you want to be a DJ, and when did you start?
Well, I as a young man, shortly after my mother passed away, I for some reason, I took my little insurance money and I bought me a couple of turntables, a receiver, and some speakers, and I started playing music.
Okay.
Maybe it was a gateway for me to get away from everything that was swirling around me, because it was like still kids in the house.
Yes.
And still rent had to be paid and stuff like that, and everybody was still going through the changes, so to speak. So I started playing music, and I started being a DJ. Back then, it was all about crates and turntables.
Yes, all that.
Yeah, so
wax.
Yeah. So that's when I started. I dabbled in it, but it was never to the extent that it is now.
Okay. Was you getting paid for it back then?
No.
Okay,
so
nobody
was going to pay me to play records then.
Well, you started.
Actually, I just wanted to play.
Yes.
But like I said, and I was limited. I couldn't carry around. I had no transportation, so I would go to people's backyards or whatever, and play. I played one time at the Yearwood Center, and I think my uncle helped me carry all of that stuff to Yearwood Center, and that wasn't too successful.
Okay. Did you get booed, or they just walked out?
No, you know what it was. Is back then, all you wanted to do was just scratch records.
Yes.
So that's all I was doing, was just scratching, scratching records left and right.
Messing up the record. Just
my
scratching.
uncle, I remember my uncle, he came up to me and he said, "Look, could you please stop scratching the record so much?" So yeah, so I had stopped doing it. I mean, for years. Okay. I mean, like, that was had to be. It was shortly after my mother died, so it was like in my early 20s.
Okay.
And I didn't touch another turntable or controller or anything till I was in my early 50s.
Okay, so now that you're 50 years old, when did you get serious about, I want to do this for a living?
Well, actually, doing it for a living, I work for the USPS for a living. That's what pays the bills.
Okay.
I mean, like, if I'd have stayed with it, earlier.
In your earlier 20s and stuff.
Yes, if I'd have stayed with it, I probably could have done it for a living.
Okay.
But right now, it's just something that I absolutely love to do.
And it keeps you busy.
And it keeps me busy. Matter of fact, it keeps me a little bit too busy sometimes. Like, sometimes there ain't enough hours in a day or days in a week.
Yes.
But yeah, I absolutely love it because it changes people's feelings and emotions.
Okay.
Just for that short 5 hours or whatever it is.
What's the difference from back then when you used to DJ to today?
Well, I tell you a lot of difference. The young people don't party the way we used to party.
And explain that.
Well, they like to party in groups. Very rare do you see a girl and a boy out there on the floor dancing. There's a group of girls here and a group of guys here, and they'll bounce around on their little cell phones, and
So they take selfies instead of dancing on the floor.
Yeah, selfies, and they do live video. I would imagine.
Okay,
and
that's not partying to me.
Well,
that's not partying to me.
That's what they do, but they'll only react to a song for like a minute, maybe, and then the floor will disperse until you put on the next song.
Okay.
You know, and it's not really dancing. You know, like they might have some dance moves that they'll do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know the name of these new dances, but
Yeah, the stanky leg, whatever they do.
stanky leg is old, bro. That's played.
I
Nobody
can't keep up with
nobody
that
does
stuff.
the stanky leg.
I still do the stanky leg, man. Come on, man.
That's probably the only thing you can do. You know, they like to shoot, and all that other stuff like that.
Shoot,
you know,
yes.
and you know, and that's what they do.
Yes. It's
You know,
a whole
it's
different generation.
not like, you know, you take a young lady by the hand, you say, "Come on, girl, let's go get down," and you get out on the floor and y'all dance for a few records.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? They don't party like that.
Okay, like
know?
the way we used to do it.
They like to twerk and all that other stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
So talk to us about the music, the change of the music. When we was growing up, we had the Earth, Wind and Fire. You know, Heat Wave.
We had like back then, you could distinguish a group by their sound.
Yes.
Everybody had their own distinct sound. Nobody sounded the same.
No.
If a band came on, you knew who it was. You knew it was Earth.
Yeah.
You knew it was the Barcades. You knew it was
Confunction.
Parliament. You knew it
Yes.
was Confunction. But these days, you don't know who the heck is singing what. And it's gotten to the point where it's more, how do you say, foul. You know,
Okay, yes.
you
It's
know,
not clean. It's not
no,
clean.
it's not clean, and it's even bled over into the R&B sector. You know,
Okay.
like R&B used to be, you know, something you can put on, you can kick back, and you can listen to, you know,
Yes.
without all foul language and, you know. But it's even bled over into the R&B
Yes.
because I guess this was what the record companies want them to put out.
Now, do you like trap music? 'Cause that's a big thing now, and there's trap music out there.
You know, no, I you know what? Listen, there's very few songs in trap that I would listen to.
Okay.
Now, don't get me wrong, audience. I will play some trap music. If you want to hear some trap music, I can play it. All right.
Okay.
You know what? That don't mean I have to like it, but you
Yes.
know what I'm saying. I can play it.
Okay.
You know, and now I don't get into too much trap music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But there are some records that are very creative. You know what I'm saying? You can tell that the people have talent, some serious talent.
Okay.
You know, because I like music with an upbeat, you know, that you could actually dance to,
Yeah.
you know, as opposed to just doing one move by yourself.
Okay.
You know, that's the type of hip-hop. If I'm going to play some hip-hop, that's normally what I would play.
Okay. You mentioned to me that you have a partner and stuff. Talk to us a little bit about your partner.
Yeah, my partner, DJ G King, Greg
G. King.
Kingwood.
Okay.
You
Talk
know?
to us about him.
Yeah, big up to Greg Kingwood. Give DJ G King.
Okay.
But yeah, he specializes in hip-hop.
Okay.
As far as, I mean, like he plays other stuff just like I do,
Okay.
but he specializes in what the young kids want to hear.
So he knows all about the trap music better
Oh,
than you
he
does.
knows all about it. He has them going crazy over that
Okay.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, listen, why he has them going crazy, I'm looking at my watch saying, you know, when is this over?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
But yes, his music selection is on point when it comes to that. You know, I
Okay.
mean, like I said, he plays R&B. You know, he plays oldie but goodies too.
Yes.
But normally, I would take care of that part of it.
Okay. Now, how do you prepare for your gigs and
Preparation
yeah,
starts.
preparation? How do you start your preparation?
Preparation starts the moment they hire me.
Okay. Explain to
You
the
know?
audience, what do you do to prepare for a gig?
Well, first, you know, you start making your playlist. Like a lot of times, I would actually go over to the people's house, bring my
Okay.
laptop, and sit down, and I would show them a playlist.
Okay.
And they would decide, and I would ask them, what would you like to hear? What would your audience like to hear? And we would go through a playlist, because now I got so many playlists. 9 times out of 10, I got something that'll suit that particular party.
Okay.
So, and we'll, you know, omit the songs that they don't want to hear. Like, for example, if I did a couple parties for Jehovah's Witnesses.
Okay.
They don't want to hear no nonsense, no suggestive lyrics or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to delete the songs that they don't want to hear Earth, Wind and Fire. They don't want to hear Beyonce,
Okay.
stuff like that. So that's just example.
How you prepare.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and then the music itself, I like all my music prepared with cue points, You know what I mean by cue points? It means phrases, drum rolls, downbeats, claps. You know, different things that could get me in and out of a song.
Okay.
You know, the way I can transition, you know, in and out of a song with ease.
And how long do it take you to prepare for
that
that?
could take hours. Sometimes I could spend a whole day
trying to prepare for a gig.
Just preparing music.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If I download, you know, a bunch of songs, to me they have to be prepared.
Okay.
You know, they have to be, you know, like I said, the beat grids have to be set, the cue points have to be set, and I have to run through the song to know where my sweet spots are and how I can get in and out of it. You know, it's a lot that goes into it, you know, when it comes to me.
Okay.
A lot of DJs, they'll scratch the record in, they'll play it, and let that be. But me, I got to be, you know, a little bit more detailed.
Okay.
You know, because I could make the song sound different without destroying the integrity of the record itself.
Okay.
Sometimes you hear mixes and stuff like that, and you know, the song doesn't sound the same.
Yeah, sometimes they can overmix.
Exactly.
Overmix.
Exactly. You could always overdo it.
Also, we want to talk about your coordination. You got your vest, the name of your company up there. Talk to us about
always
your company.
Always wear my logo. Yeah, well, my company is M&R Kelly Entertainment.
Okay.
You know, but I do business as DJ Miami Marv.
And this is how you come out to every gig with a vest?
Well, the vest is my niche, is what I like to call it. I don't wear a vest at every gig, but 9 times out of 10, I am wearing a vest.
Okay.
And some of my vests have my logo on it, and just a few of them that don't have my logo on it. But yes, my thing is that I look different, I sound different. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I do everything with professionalism.
Okay.
You know, that's above and beyond. You know, you gotta, you know, your first impression is everything. You gotta be on time. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look like you mean business, act like you mean business, talk like you mean business, and maintain your business integrity.
So you set yourself apart from the rest of them.
Exactly. Because when I first started out, and I used to go out and watch what other DJs did and what kind of music they were playing. I supported them and this and that and the other, and I took some of the things that they did, and then I threw it all the rest away. So, okay, this is who I want to be, because this is who I am.
Okay.
You know, I pay attention to detail.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'm not going to show up at somebody's. Now, listen, I'm not, you know, knocking anybody, but I'm not going to show up at your special event in a T-shirt and a baseball hat.
Okay.
You know, maybe if I was at a backyard barbecue, that would be appropriate, but that's not what I do.
Okay. You're setting yourself apart.
Yes, exactly. You know, and I've seen DJs do it.
Okay.
You know?
So if someone want to get into the DJ business, how much money should they have or should they spend to just get started off the ground, DJ?
You know what, this question, you know, it always makes me smile, because like I said, the sky's the limit. Okay. I mean, like, you might want to, you know, as we discussed earlier, you might want to start off small, but if you can go a little higher, you know what I'm saying? Because the small stuff, as you start growing and you start, you know, feeling a little bit of success, you're going to need better equipment.
Okay.
So if you got the means to do it, you need to go ahead and spend the money. Okay. Because sooner or later, that's what you're going to do.
Are things changing in the industry as far as DJing, where I know you were saying that everything is on, you know, smaller and you ain't got to carry the crates no more?
Yeah, well, you know, you could be more creative. You could be as creative as you want to be.
Okay.
You know, if you're willing to put in the work.
Okay.
You know, the main thing is, you know, like I said, the main thing is presentation and all of that, but you got to know song selection, you know.
Okay.
It's like a master chef cooking up a recipe. Is this a recipe that everybody's going to like? Okay. Well, of course you can't please everybody. Everybody has different tastes.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But you could, you know, you could try.
Yes,
you
put forth 100%.
Exactly. I like to say 110%.
Okay, 110%.
110. Because if you put in 110% into anything you do, you'll get something out of it. Now, somebody gave me a quote the other day, and he said it reminded them of me.
Okay.
A committed, passionate person could never be defeated.
That's powerful.
I think that's the way when I might be saying it wrong, but I'm like, am I committed? Yes. Am I passionate? I am passionate about everything. I do everything with passion.
Okay.
Even rooting for my football team. Everything is done with passion.
Okay, you may be at the NFL doing the football, doing some DJ work there, man.
Who knows? You
Never
know, I'm
know,
ready.
man.
I'm ready.
DJ Miami Marv doing it, man.
You know, listen, it's just like with any other thing. If somebody asks me, say, listen, can you do Mexican music? Absolutely. So first thing I do, because I did a Mexican wedding.
Okay.
First thing I did was go home, you download a bunch of Mexican music, and you study it, and you listen to it.
Okay.
And you know, normally I got a pretty good ear for music.
Okay.
You know, if it sounds good, okay, I'll put this on a playlist and this and any other, and you go from there. And then a lot of times you're at the events, you know, people will tell you.
Yes.
I say, look, do you have this song? No, but I can download it.
Okay,
you know,
right there on the spot.
Yeah, because if I have access to an internet connection, I can download it, have it on in like a minute.
Okay.
You know, and when you learn all of this, you save it in your playlist for the next time.
Okay.
So there's a nice Mexican playlist I have, you know, in case I run into, you know, a couple of Mexicans who want to hear some Mexican tunes or reggae. Spanish we do all the time.
Okay.
You know, we've done a whole lot of Spanish songs, you know, to the point where you don't even know what they're saying. You don't even know what the song is saying or whatever. But it sounds good.
Okay.
You know, and the people enjoy it.
So DJ Miami Marv, if someone want to reach out to you and get in contact with you during the event, how can they reach you?
Well, you could reach me at djmiamimarv.com, or you could check me out on Facebook, Marvin Kelly, you know, and M&R Kelly Entertainment, or you can call me, 203-979-1551, or you can send me an email, djmiamimarv@gmail.com. I
want to thank you for watching Real Talk. DJ Miami Marv is here. Go to Instagram. You can go to YouTube. Hit the like button. Give us some comments. Let us know what you thought about this interview. And we'd like to thank you for listening to Real Talk. God bless and have a good night.
Peace.
You can reach out to Steve at realtalk877@gmail.com, Instagram and Facebook at Real Talk with Steve Harrison.